Welcome to Criminologist. Today we're diving deep into the haunting case of Jessica Renee Johnson, a 37-year-old mother from Horn Lake, Mississippi. Her parents, David and Linda, loved having her and her children close. Jessica had a 19-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter from previous relationships who were her entire world. Her parents said she was a good mom when she was doing good, but Jessica had also struggled with drug addiction. However, she was on a positive path to recovery, which is why when she started dating a man named Garland Hart, her friends and family were not sure if he was the right partner for her. You see, Garland had a reputation for selling drugs and mistreating women. Their relationship was described as toxic by her friends and family, who believed Garland was abusive towards her. Jessica even once commented that, "This guy's going to kill me." Although most of her loved ones did not approve of the man in her life, Jessica couldn't bring herself to break up. Friends say they tried to convince her to call it off, but anytime Jessica did get away, she'd go right back. She believed that being with Hart had helped her stay away from her addictions. On May 31st, 2017, Jessica left her home and told her family that she was going to stay with her boyfriend. The next day, on June 1st, 2017, Jessica called her daughter and let her know that she'd be home later in the evening than normal. However, she never arrived back home. Jessica's parents became concerned when she did not return home. They tried calling her phone, but she never picked up. On the 2nd of June, Jessica's mother, Linda, received a disturbing phone call from the town coroner. Jessica was found dead, and the police claimed it was suicide. Linda could not believe what she had just heard. It was found that between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m. on June 2nd, a mail carrier found Jessica's body. She was on her knees resting against the mailbox. Shoelaces were tied around her neck, which further looped around the mailbox post, which was only a few feet tall. Even though the shoestrings were around her neck, one side was pressed against her cheekbone. Her purse was open on the ground, placed between her legs. Police claim that she hung herself, but committing suicide on something this small has been considered impossible by experts and the public alike. Police also found an unlaced shoe splattered with blood a few steps away from the body. However, it was never forensically tested. Jessica's body was taken for forensic examination, and the coroner found numerous marks on Jessica's hand, along with a footprint that hinted at the victim being beaten before her death. However, the cause of death was determined to be asphyxiation due to ligature strangulation. Due to her history with addiction, some have suggested that the marks on her arms look like the marks some users get when meth splatters. Jessica's body was found outside the home of Garland's friend's house. Jessica would go to this house sometimes when Garland would stay there. The house was less than 5 miles from her parents' home, and according to locals, the house is notorious for its illegal activity. According to the homeowner, Garland's friend, there were several people at his house between June 31st and June 2nd. He claimed that he had not seen Jessica and Garland together for a few months. He stated that the two were acting strange, particularly Jessica, claiming that she seemed out of her normal self. At some point, Jessica got into a fight with Garland and wanted to leave, but later decided to stay. However, homeowner does not know why the couple were fighting. Jessica had apparently called a friend. She was hysterical and had locked herself in the bathroom and begged her friend to pick her up. The friend showed up, but Jessica did not leave with them. Garland denied ever being violent towards Jessica. Although it's worth noting, sometime after Jessica's death, Garland arrested on DV charges filed by a woman he started dating after Jessica's death. The homeowner allegedly also said that the evening before her death, Jessica had been walking around his house with her shoelaces in her hands, threatening her own Elof. The homeowner said, "One of my roommates in both told me she was out in the driveway and pulled the shoestrings out of her shoes and was threatening it," he said. And he basically kind of just shrugged it off and told her, "Get out of here with that. I don't want to hear it." And he shut the door on her. He said later that night, Jessica sent the homeowner a text. "I got the text message from her talking about she just didn't want to feel the pain anymore or anything," he said. That was the last time he said he heard from her. Many investigators believe that this supported the suicide narrative, making it seem like Jessica's last words. However, the family does not believe she would have committed suicide. Jessica's family confirmed that she had not been wearing her own clothes and was not wearing any makeup. This was entirely unusual for Jessica, who needed to be dressed and her makeup done to feel ready and comfortable leaving the house. It does not make sense that someone would commit such a bizarre suicide. The whole thing looked like a staged crime scene. The family decided to hire a forensic scientist because they didn't believe that Jessica was capable of committing suicide. They hired Dr. Maurice Godwin to take a look at the case. Although a complete autopsy wasn't conducted on Jessica's remains, a partial one was performed. According to this partial autopsy, traces of methamphetamine in Xanax were detected in Jessica's system at the time of her demise. Nonetheless, the quantities found were insufficient to constitute an overdose. The report also specified Jessica's time of death as approximately 3:30 a.m. on June 2nd. Furthermore, her son recalled receiving a text message from his mother's phone around this time, suggesting that she was either alive at the time of her death or that someone else had used her phone to send the message. In the text, she said she would be spending the day with G. G is how she referred to Garland in text. Dr. Goodwin wanted to do an autopsy on Jessica's body, but her body had been cremated along with the clothes. In their grief and confusion, Jessica's parents chose to cremate her because of financial constraints. They also trusted that the police possessed sufficient evidence to conduct an investigation. Dr. Godwin was of the opinion that Jessica's death was not a suicide and would have warranted further investigation by law enforcement. The general consensus is that the police horribly mishandled her case, with her family citing the fact that they did not create a crime scene and failed to look for further evidence. There was also a CCTV camera pointing straight at the mailbox, but the police never asked for the footage. When later questioned, the homeowner had several different excuses regarding what happened to the footage. This has led many to believe that they were helping Garland with a cover-up. Police did question Garland and the homeowner, but they were never charged. The police never considered the boyfriend a person of interest. Adding insult to injury, Garland changed the passcode on Jessica's phone before handing it over to the family. Despite their requests, he withheld the code, thereby preventing them from accessing additional evidence that could potentially implicate him in the crime. Apple was also unwilling to assist in the family being able to gain access. Even though Jessica had problems with drugs before and was having a tough time with her boyfriend now, her friends and family never thought she would consider ending her life. She was working hard to make things better, and she loved her children too much to even think about it. Even Jessica herself had confided in her mother at one point that if anything were to happen to her, it would be because of Hart. She told me, "Mama, if anything happens to me, go find him. You know I'm not going to mention his name, but go find him," Linda said. The case is still open and active. Join us as we unravel the complexities of this case and explore the possibility of hidden truths. Your thoughts and insights are invaluable. Share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more in-depth explorations from Criminologist. Together, we can strive for justice and uncover the truth behind these haunting stories. Thank you for watching and being part of our community.